Corey and Danielle have lived in the same neighborhood as each other ever since they were little. They stood together at the bus stop and played together with the other neighborhood kids. They naturally became friends due to the proximity effect, which says that the more we see and interact with people, the more likely we are to become their friends. As they grew older, Corey and Danielle's friendship continued to go throughout school, even up through high school.
Growing up, Corey and Danielle found out that they have very similar interests in things like listening to the same type of music and liking the same sports teams. Due to similarity, which says that greater similarity leads to more liking, it caused Corey to want to date Danielle for a while. He perceived that a relationship with her would be far better than just a friendship, but she kept avoiding his feelings towards her. Danielle eventually talked herself into going out with Corey. She thought of their similarities and thought that maybe it wouldn't be so bad. While thinking of why she would give him a chance, Danielle also thought about how attractive she thinks Corey is. She always found that his physical features were aesthetically pleasing to look at. Of course, Corey thought that Danielle was one of the most beautiful girls he had ever seen. Because of reciprocal liking, which could be defined as we like people who like us, Danielle could see how much Corey liked her, so she liked him back. She could see that they were similar in attitude, and she didn't want to try playing hard to get, which could eventually cause him to decrease how much he likes her.
Corey and Danielle are beginning to have issues, and this could be because they have different attachment styles when it comes to relationships, and this was not discussed before entering a relationship. Attachment styles are the expectations that are developed in a relationship. This typically sprouts from the relationship a child has with their primary caregiver. Corey was made to feel by his mother that he had to prove himself to be a good child to earn love from her. She constantly yelled at him for his wrongdoings, but never applauded him for learning new things in life. This caused Corey to develop an anxious or ambivalent attachment style, in which he is afraid that others will not reciprocate the intimacy he craves with them, which in turn causes him to be anxious. Corey is often quick to get into relationships because of this, in which fizzle out fairly quickly. When Danielle was a child, she had to learn everything on her own and was not paid much attention by her parents. Showing affection was not promoted in her household, and she was never told by her mother that she was loved and cared for. In turn, Danielle has developed an avoidant attachment style, in which she has difficulty developing relationships on an intimate level because any attempts she has made to be intimate in the past were rejected. These two attachment styles clash, as Corey perceives Danielle to not care about him anymore by her avoidance of him at times or reluctance to be intimate with him. In turn, Corey becomes anxious and clingy with Danielle, which then causes her to avoid him even more. Corey does not understand why Danielle doesn't love him anymore, so he goes to his friend John for advice. John was nurtured and encouraged by his father as a child, so he has a secure attachment style. John advises Corey to trust Danielle and try to not worry so much about her leaving him. He also tells Corey that he needs to improve his self-worth, which in turn will reduce his abandonment issues.
Now that Danielle and Corey are facing serious issues, Danielle begins taking the steps of ending an intimate relationship. She begins the first step called intrapersonal, where an individual thinks a lot about their dissatisfaction with the relationship. Danielle starts to think about how unhappy she is with Corey and wonders if the relationship is worth saving. Danielle compares the pros and cons of the relationship, ultimately deciding to end it with Corey. Danielle texts Corey telling him it's over, and he responds trying to get her to change her mind, but it's too late, the relationship is done. They have completed the second step called dyadic, where the individual discusses the breakup with the partner. A week passes and they begin to tell their friends what happened. Danielle is hanging out with Jane and Anna, showing them the messages with Corey. As they're reading, Danielle describes that she got tired and annoyed with him. She points out in the messages how Corey was begging for her to stay. Her friends tell her that she is better off without him. While this is happening, on the other side of town, Corey is hanging out with his friend John. Corey tells him about the breakup and that they both decided to end things, trying to save face in front of his friend. Both Corey and Danielle have finished the third step social, which is announcing the breakup to others. Flash forward a few months, and they both have reached the fourth step called intrapersonal, where individuals recover from the breakup and make an internal account of how and why it happened. Danielle has a new boyfriend and told him about Corey's behavior and how it ultimately caused the end of their relationship, while Corey tells his new girlfriend how he ended things with Danielle and that Danielle still wants him.
Even though dealing with any kind of bad relationship can be hard, it does spark the interest in creating new relationships. In Corey's case, he's still pretty bummed about Danielle, but has just recently caught the attention from his former classmate, Alyssa. The two start hanging out as friends and begin to catch up from where they left off. As the two continued to be around each other, they eventually became inseparable and decided to go exclusive. The beginning of their relationship was filled with laughs, smiles, and excitement. It appeared as if the only two people that mattered to them was each other. This stage of their relationship was known as passionate love, which is an intense longing we feel for someone accompanied by physiological arousal. These two became your typical cliché couple of romance, due to the passionate love that they had for each other in the beginning of the relationship. This also eventually led to them tying the knot. Another factor contributing to their relationship's stability was that they had so much in common. They always knew what kind of gifts to give each other and were always trying to outdo each other on who could contribute the most. This aligns with equity theory, which is the idea that people are happiest with relationships in which rewards and costs experienced by both parties are roughly equal. The relationship was never one-sided, and both contributed equal time and effort while keeping each other happy. Well, as nice as passionate love sounds, it doesn't last forever. As years go by, the couple's past enthusiasm and excitement doesn't bring a physiological arousal as it used to. However, this doesn't mean that they don't love each other. This could mean their love has changed. Now, in the couple's later years, they consider each other as best friends/lovers, and will go out of each other's way just to help each other out whenever and wherever. This new type of love is referred to as companion love. The feeling of intimacy and affection we have for someone that are not accompanied by passion or physiological arousal. This type of love worked perfectly for Corey and Alyssa as they grew old together and relied on each other as best friends for life. In the end, Corey finally found his quote-unquote soulmate and kept all his friendships close to him. He never felt too sad because the people he admired were always there for him.